Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Stephen Hale from Hale, representing Don Gray, Highway Services. This is an application, actually a request for a modification of a provision that was in a previous resolution. Mr. Antonelli, who has asked me to appear this evening on behalf of Mr. Gray, written a letter to the board explaining the situation with respect to a decorative fence that was required in front of the property, and in fact is included in the resolution. What we're requesting this evening is for a modification, a minor modification of the resolution to eliminate that condition and have that replaced, in fact, with a repair of the existing fence and some additional landscaping. I do have Mr. Gray here to briefly explain, and I believe the board does have a copy of both my letter and the letter of Mr. Antonelli, but to briefly explain what he's proposing.
Board members, before we get into hearing anything from the applicant, let me just explain, I think, what your options are at this time. This application, as you know, has been heard and decided, and the resolution has been memorialized. What the applicant is asking for is either one of two things. Either he's asking for an amended site plan application, in which case he would have to amend his original application, renotice, and come back again for an amendment to his former approval by this board. Or he is looking for a minor, more or less a de minimis, very minor change to the application, in which case the board could act on its own without a public hearing or amended application to make that decision. I believe it's up for the board to decide. You've seen the letter, asking what the applicant is asking for, and it really is your decision as to whether or not you feel that this is sufficient or significant enough of a change to warrant an amended application come before the board with a new notice, or whether it is really a minor revision to an approval that you've already given and therefore could be done without a new application and new notice. So before we get into any testimony, I would ask that the board make that decision first.
Mr. Chairman, I was actually one of the commissioners who requested that the applicant build an ornamental fence. Although I was very familiar with the building, I was not that familiar with the extent, the size of the lot where the applicant was proposing this project. I drove by and I realized that the requesting, although I'm always in favor of ornamental fences, they make the projects, community buildings look better. The size of this particular building, I don't have a problem allowing this applicant to without providing notices to the neighbors, just change his application from what we approved to a chain fence, provided, as Commissioner Kappa suggested during the hearing, that the applicant provide extensive landscaping. Right across the street from the building, there are no houses, railroad tracks. It's mainly an industrial area operation. So I personally do not have any problem agreeing with what the attorneys are proposing to be a minor change and allow the applicant to build his chain fence with his buffer elements that will not allow people to see through from the outside of the road.
Mr. Chairman?
Vice Chairman Goldberg.
I also have no problem with the the applicant to reapply and all that.
Just to clarify, should we take a vote on whether or not? The vote here is going to be whether or not we should accept the application as is with minor changes, or whether the applicant should have to re-notify the residents and come back for us with a full-blown application, amended application, excuse me. All those in favor? Well,
You need a motion.
what we're going to vote on here is that the applicant can proceed with an amended application today.
With just a request for an amended resolution today. If it was an amended application, then you have to start over again.
Amended resolution. A vote on that.
Somebody has to make a motion.
I have a motion.
So,
Motion by
yes, and the motion, if the language is correct, if not, to allow the applicant to amend the resolution of this application for a minor change without a full hearing. So that's my motion.
You're saying you would still need to provide testimony today as to what that change would be. Is that correct?
I think that would be appropriate.
Yes.
Is that language right, sir? It
would be nice to have an explanation of exactly what it was, so we could put that into an amended resolution. I would want to know what it is that we're expecting.
So
we need to hear that. It doesn't have to be from
I think that would be
from his
appropriate.
attorney. We just need to know what it is. But that's
Okay, so the commissioner made a motion for a minor revision to the resolution. That's what we're voting on.
right.
After that point, whatever our vote is, the applicant will then explain what that revision is going to be, and then we'll take another vote on that revision to accept or reject his proposal. Okay, then. I second the commissioner's.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner LaPalme.
before you proceed, I was not here for the original.
Correct. There's,
I have to.
so it was a motion by Commissioner Castro and seconded by Vice Chairman Cohen.
Commissioner Silva. Aye. Commissioner Papa.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Chairman Dominguez.
Aye.
Fernandez. That's
Right. Okay, so that's in favor. So the applicant has to briefly tell us what it is that they're proposing.
As outlined in the letter from Mr. Antonelli, which was next, actually previously submitted dated August 1st, what is proposed is that paragraph 14 of the resolution calls for the installation of an ornamental fence. What we're proposing is, in lieu of that fence, to have the existing fence repaired and then install decorative landscape and plantings in that area. We can submit that as part of the plan. In fact, the site plan that submitted to this board originally, in fact, didn't contain the fence that was actually requested. So the plan that was submitted as part of the application is in fact the plan. You can submit the landscaping plan for the approval of acceptable to your board engineer. I can have my client just briefly explain, if you would like, the nature of the landscaping, but I'm sure it will be sufficient. I would assume it will be sufficient to say that there will be landscaping consistent with the letter that was submitted and approved by the engineer.
Currently, on that fence, if my memory serves me correctly, there's like a green covering or something.
Yes, that's correct.
There's like green, like it's almost like cloth or something on that. That's going to be repaired. That was the amendment that they're putting forth as per their letter.
Repairing the fence and landscaping across the front of the fence.
Correct. And a landscaping plan will be.
And a landscape on this fence also is correct. I have a question for Mr. Brett. Is that now the time, or do we wait till he...
Donald Gray, G-R-A-Y. My home address is 6 Fox Chase Drive, Watchung, New Jersey.
Mr. Gregg, as so often is the case, we propose all this landscaping, applicants come in, create a landscape plan, and then most of the time, landscape will die off or it's not maintained. Were you assured this board that the landscaping plan will be maintained, watered, trimmed accordingly, and should the plan die, which it will do even with proper care, that it will be replaced?
Yes.
That we're not going to drive down Trumbull Street a year from now and see a tree here and a dead tree there and no tree there. So if you could give me that assurance, I do not have a problem with the proposal.
You have my assurance.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioners, any other questions?
That's correct.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the change to the original application as proposed tonight.
Motion to accept by Vice Chairman Papa.
Second. I yield to the commissioner.
Second by Commissioner Silva. Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Castro,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Commissioner Silva. Aye. Vice Chairman Papa.
Aye.
Commissioner Nunez.
Aye.
Thank you very much for your time this evening.